just beyond the next planet, just beyond the next star.
Been a hell of a run. I never thought it would come to an end.
Our brig was bigger than this.
A lot of things change in 200 years.
Here's to the next generation.
All right, hey, welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler. I want to give you a quick update on the USS Enterprise NX-01. And this is the true NX-01, not the refit that I'm endeavoring to do here. So, just a real quick update. I have drilled all of the holes in the hull for where the windows are going to go, and cleaned them out from the inside. I also removed this wall in here with my chisel. Anywhere I'm going to need light to come through, like here's a great example. I removed the here so that light can go through into this here. So that's going to be an interesting view to see if that's going to work to get light to come through the side walls. Very, very tiny, and could be a challenge, but we'll see how that goes. I am working next on a process that I'm going to see if it will work, and it may be a colossal failure, but I'm going to give it a shot. These are, I think, they're like shuttle crew landing bays on the side. They've got kind of an interesting decal. I'll pull that decal up here off the sheet. So, to me, that looks like a landing pad, and there are 4 of them. There's 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, and they're on the sides of the hull there. And normally, in the show, they're lit up. They've got lights that light them up. Well, I'm not doing that. I've got enough lights going on in this thing that it's going to be a significant challenge if we get it done or not, to get it done. So, I'm going to try and cheat just a little bit. What I'm going to do is I am going to, I already taped off the top. I'm sorry, this is the bottom. I already taped off the bottom, just where the doors would go, where the landing bay would go, right? Then I'm going to sight that in, and I'm going to tape this off here where I can keep that from being light blocked, because I want a Raytheon, because this does pass light through it really easily. I mean, you can see the light goes through it really, really fantastically. So what I'm hoping to do is remove that, to hone that in as close as possible, and I think I can even see it through the light there. To hone that in, and then tape off the outside and the inside. And then I'll paint a couple coats of black primer here, and then a coat of white inside of this to reflect all the light around. Same thing on the top here. I'm going to, here it makes it easy, tape off the 2 on top and tape off these 2 doors. And I'm just doing the doors themselves, just right here. I'm just going to tape those off, because that is that's going to be one way of doing that. So that is going to be hopefully the landing bay. So I've got to tape those off, and I'm almost ready for the paint booth to come up next. So the next thing I've got done is I did manage to, let's see if I can get it here. I did manage to get through that single piece right there. I got a little tiny hole that I went through the wrong way at the wrong angle, but I think just a little bit of putty and a little bit of sanding will take care of that. But what this does is it allows me to put a single LED in there, and these are these small little SMDs, and I think this is quite a large one actually for the size of it. It's like an 0825 And you can see there's the positive. And let's see if I can get the negative to go through here. Just like that, hopefully. Come on, almost there. Yeah, exactly. And then pull that tight. Just kind of like that. And then this piece will fit over the top of it. Like that. And now, if I've got a resistor handy, which I do, get my bearing straight here. I had pulled this apart to go to primer, but I wanted to demonstrate the build before I go into the primer and see where we're at. From there, and let's get a little bit of juice running through the negative yet. Voila. Alright, so I still have to place that correctly over the, I still have to place that correctly, like, something like that. That's pointed the wrong way, but now you see that I'm going to have that crystal's going to be left. So I got to light block that and add a couple pieces. But so that is that goes between the decking here. So then that opens up. That wire comes directly in and opens right up. I also channeled out room for my wires coming in from the nacelles on both of these, on the top and bottom, so that's ready to go. That's ready to go. I'm just going to lay in light here, 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 and maybe one here and one here. And I'm just going to do a parallel circuit, just boom, right to there. So that is the interior lighting, and hopefully it'll light all that stuff up. It's the Raytheon lighting for the landing bays. It is the nacelles are going to light. We'll get to that later in a later update. And then the other thing that I was able to accomplish, I'm going to pull this apart here just for a second, is I laid out a channel right there, and that's going to be a navigation light. I'm not going to blink them. This is going to be green on this side, red on this side. But you do have to do a red on, or green on the tops and bottoms, and on, so a green here and a green here, a red here and a red there, and it lights up. So the big challenge was that this part goes on. And I will say this kit is fantastic, the way that they lined up the numbers, and actually they have numbers on here as far as where the part goes that matches it. So that is going to close that up. So I've got a solid wall all the way around there, side wall, as that fits in. And now what I'm going to do, if I can pull this one up, and hopefully show you here. I'm not sure if this is the green or the red, but I've got this side open and available, so we'll do it. Alright, so that is an 0402. That is about as tiny as an SMD as you can get. And what that's going to do is sit in that channel right there. And I'll just tape it down real quick. Maybe back it up just a little touch. Okay, and then so that fits there, and what I did is I hollowed that out right there with my Dremel, but it's all going to be hidden. So as this goes in, I don't have any gap whatsoever right there in that wall, and then when I glue it up, it's going to be thin. So now, if I power this up, and again, I don't know which side is which at the moment, red or green. I think this is probably a green LED at the moment. It is, and it works. So, fantastic lighting, and I'm going to have to take that resistor down so it's not quite so bright. A larger resistor, I think that's an 88 ohm resistor. I'm probably going to go up to like a 200 to bring that down because it's out of scale with how bright the rest of this is going to be. But now what I can do is I can go in before I put that LED in, and you can see all the light bleed, not light leak, light bleed, and it's really not leaking through. It's a light bleed that it's shining through. So now what I can do, and I'm going to put that up there because I want it for later. So what I'm going to do is paint this primer this black for 2 coats, and then primer the inside of this black for 2 coats, and then a white coat over the whole thing, and then a white coat over this, and then I can put that together and put all that together, including there's some little clear plastic plugs that go in there, the duals, and it's going to look cool because they sit up a little bit and they're in scale, which is even cooler. I think it's going to be a pain in the backside for masking or taping or figuring out how to keep them clean, but we'll get to that as we come to it. So that is the lighting, and then when that's on, sorry, here I'm rambling, but I'm just really trying to be, so that one's on. This one does the same thing. Now, fortunately, with those little tiny SMDs, that is really small in there, recessed. So I can actually put an LED in there, same size, and then when this closes up across here, back that up just a skosh, that LED will sit in there and not have to have the blocking that it needs. So that is the plan for the SMD navigation lights. And then the last 2 lights that'll go in, there are 2 little tiny lights right here that I'm going to do in blue, and that's clear. And then you've got the impulse engines in the back that I'm going to do in clear. And I think I showed you that this is a blue light that goes in that, and so that'll light up in blue, and that will give us our lighting for the Enterprise NX-01. I think that's it for lighting. There's not a lot to this kit. The nacelles are going to be a giant pain in the tuchus, so I'm going to do 2 things. I might remove these pins in order to get everything to fit in there. Might not. Might keep them. I haven't really worked on this yet. What I think I can do with an LED for using a red LED. I'm not going to use that one. Let's use this one again. I think what I can do with a red LED is I can straddle that with wire right there, glue that in, and then using my trick from the Enterprise C from those nacelles, I can put that bulb right up into it if I need to. Okay, and then what I can do is my trick from the Enterprise C is that I used this Sculpey oven-baked clay, 12 bars or 1 ounce bars, and I mean it'll take just that much, and then wrap this back up in a plastic baggie when you're done with it. But it's soft, it's pliable, but boy, it holds its shape for a long time. I think I got this at Michael's. And so taking that material out there, I can then plug that, both top and bottom of that nacelle, I can plug that whole area once that wire's in with this, and it light blocks so you don't have red bleeding back into your nacelle sides, and those have to be blue. So what you've got is an interior exterior blue, and these are very specific how they go together, because you've got each side, but then you've got the bottom that fits over the top of the nacelle. So I think what I can do is, again, straddle that wire, bring that wire back and out and down. There's lots of room there. And then mount in my clear pieces, and I'm going to paint those electric blue or a really cool blue. And so that'll be light blocked at the top. And then I think what I can do is run another LED, like maybe point that other LED back at the nacelle from this side, like that. Oops, sorry. So I think what I can do is point that back at the nacelle, put that over the pin, glue it down, and that gives me one LED pointing back that way. And if I need it, I can do another LED here and point it forward, and that will give me both these interior side panels blue, especially if you light it up blue with the other piece. Now it may have hot spots at the ends, and I hope not, but it might. And if it is, I'm not going to try to fix that. I just want it to light up and light up blue, and I think we can get probably like 90% of the way there. We'll see if there's enough light in those little LEDs to push that all the way through. Very, very cool. I'm going to work on taping this up a little more, and once it's taped up, then I can go to the paint booth. One thing I just realized I need to do, I've got that over, I can't really see where that, let's do it this way. If I put a light up there, then I can see where to trim that out. But I don't have anything on the inside. So what I'm going to do is remove these two pieces remove those two pieces of tape that I already did, pull them, because I think that those markers will show up, the grid lines on the top will show up, so then I can cut to those on the back and then replace that tape on the front. I'm going to do that for the top and the bottom. That's my next little project here. And then that's really thick on the bottom there, so I think we'll be okay. So, thank you for tuning in on this build. We will continue from there, and let me go to the paint booth. Okay, so I thought I'd give everybody a quick shot of the spray booth. This is back in my utility room, and essentially what I did, just 4, 5, 6 pieces of poster board, thick, and all I do is just tape up all the edges there, as you can see, and build a little bit of a ledge here to keep the light out of my eyes. And then from the top, I just use double stick tape and an LED, provides really nice white light in there. And then here's my little here's my little controller that holds the airbrush when I spray. Here's my airbrush and all my other compressors. Get you in camera. Here's my compressors. Here's the airbrushes that I use, and maybe even sorry for that. There's my ultrasonic cleaner, clean the brushes with, and that really helps a tremendous amount. And then inside, I just have a simple Lazy Susan, and that's been there a long, long time. There are 3 spray booths, as a matter of fact. And then I just use, this works really nice, it's another piece of poster board, just cut into 6 pieces, so you can see I've got, or 9 pieces. Sorry, working with a new camera here. So these 9 pieces right here just are great for platforms, and then a little vent in the back. And finally, so here's just a bunch taped down for the primer, so that inside's been primed, and that's our first coat on that. But I've not shown the spray booth before, and just thought just kind of a neat little way of doing that. So I got my little 6-foot table right there, Might even actually be just a 4-foot table. And, you know, this is just open space back here not being used. So that is the spray booth, and we are under primer for the Enterprise. We'll be back with you. All right, hey, welcome back. We're out of the primer booth, and we have our hull painted, primered. I've got the hull primered, and now I'm trying to figure out the lighting path here, from the navigation lights to the interior illumination, back to the impulse engines, and then into to the impulse engines, and then up to the nacelles. So currently what I've got, and I'll show you that in a second, but essentially what we're doing is soldering together. This is 5-volt single density LED light tape, and I like this better for a couple of reasons. I don't have to add resistors to it. It seems to work nice. It's bright, and I think that I can get this to hopefully get it to work. Yeah. All right, hey, welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler, and we are just about ready to put the final nacelle together here. These are tiny, and they take a lot of work to get them to the point where you're ready to glue them in if you want to light them. So I'll just show you what I've got here. This is the one side of the nacelle, and I've got just mounting clay in here, like I've talked about a couple of times, and it seems like it's going to do the trick pretty well. I can get this stuff cleared out here carefully. And it works nice, and so now that is ready to put in. 4 lights. What I've got here is I've got one red light here at the end that's pointing out in the center, so you've got that right there. I've got one white light that's pushing back, and then another white light that's pushing forward, and all of this is encased it's encased in modeling clay. Just taking a little bit of cotton fiber fill and filling up this nacelle Bussard collector. So just as simple as that, just filling that up, and then now I'm ready to glue this together. So in essence, basically just taking my little liquid cement, because I've scraped the edges, and you'll have to forgive me here, not the steadiest of hands, it's easier to do it this way, just right around the edge. Right down the side. And across the top. So now, hopefully all this will finally come together. Insert my Bussard collector. Come on. There we go. And now just come across the top like that. So the front fits pretty nice, but I had to remove basically all the guts in the back in order to get that light in the very back portion of it there. This doesn't even look like it's going to need much clamping. Put 2 on it just the same. One for the front and definitely one on the back. And I think that's going to get us there. So I'm going to set that aside. Maybe I can take 2 seconds here to light up my nacelle. And then this is the last of the lighting challenges. So I'm going to clean up after this. So I've got my Passard collector. I've got my lights on the side, front and back, lighting up the chiller grill. And for me, that's about as exciting as it gets right there. So that is the Passard collectors and the nacelles. Set those aside to dry. I've got the lights are in for the navigation lights on the top, and that's the only lights that go in the top of that. So that is done. And then the bottom here, and let's see if I can light that up real quick. Just give you a quick shot. And so the bottom is lit. We've got definitely those impulse engines light right up, so very excited about that. I've got my 5 lights around it, and I don't have the wired in yet for the navigation lights, but those come next. I'm hoping that there's enough light in there to light up the reds. There may or may not be, but honestly I'm not that concerned about it. That would be more torpedo launchers than lighting right there. And it does a pretty nice job of lighting up the front of that, especially when you get something covering the top. You're just got enough light there to make that blue glow nicely behind the deflector dish. Of course, I've got to tidy all this up, but once we get it there, we're going to be ready to close all this up. So I'm going to finalize the navigation wiring, and then once that's done, then we're on to the big key here is mounting those nacelles really close, and having enough little bit of play that you can push them up and down so you can take them off and just hang them a little bit right there. So it's very tricky. Just hang them off to the side a little bit, put your cap on, and then push your wiring down into both sides, and then close that up where the nacelles go. It looks like they're going to line up nice, so we'll see. But for right now, this is where we're at. I will be back with you after we do some more wiring. Thank you. So that's going to wrap up the US, no, not the US. So that's going to wrap up the NX01 Enterprise. This is just kind of a quick build log here on the front end, showing all the wiring and the prep work and so forth. And the next update, update number 2, we'll go into some more painting, closing the hull up, and then some of the other challenges with bringing this model across the finish line. I appreciate the fact that you're here watching the NX01 build. I know you could be doing anything else in the world, spending it anywhere else or with anyone, but you've chosen to spend the time with me, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. But it is taken with great regard that you've spent the time here watching the build. I hope you enjoy going out building a model, and I hope you'll join me in update number 2 when we take on some of the painting and some of the other challenges. So until then, this is a Sloppy Modeler signing off. Thank you.